Hey guys, Steve here, and today we're finishing off our stats series with our kill stats, kill and death stats for all the Pokemon that we brought in all of the games. Webcam's being a little weird. I'm just wearing a blanket right now. It's cold up here in Canada. -8 right now, Celsius. Uh, so I got all these little stats here. Let's sort it first by games played. So this will be different, just so everybody knows, than the stats that Mr. Poppin' Fresh will hand out once all the games are played. That's because there are some games that I did technically choose a Pokemon to go into a match, but it never actually was played during the match because I won 4-0 or something. For example, the last game I played, I had Gloom, Mantine, Magnezone, and Heracross was in the back, but I never actually had to bring out Heracross, so that does count towards his games played stats in mine, but it won't count towards Poppin' Fresh's because he technically doesn't know that. Although if you watch my videos, he would, but that wouldn't be fair to the rest of the team's stats. Additionally, if there were ever a case where I killed something, I brought something to a focus sash and then it died to weather, whether or not I set the weather, I count that as a kill for me. For example, don't remember who was it against. Whoever has the Haunter, I brought that down to a focus sash with Delmise. That person also has a Tyranitar, so Tyranitar's Sandstream actually killed the Haunter, but Delmise brought it to its sash, so I count that as a kill for Delmise. And I believe he won't be counting it the same way, but that's just how my numbers work. And I think that explains any weird discrepancies you'll see. So, in order of games played, I got Cinderace, Quagsire, Delmise. Quagsire's tier 4. Surprises me, but I keep finding reasons to bring him because of Unaware. It's a great ability. Delmise, great Trick Room Sweeper. Mr. Rime just has a ton of good support moves as well as the ability Screen Cleaner. Grimmsnarl I picked up halfway through the season, so really his numbers should be up there with Cinderace if I had him the whole season. Porygon 2 is beefy and sets Trick Room. Mantine for Tailwind and Wide Guard, used him to sweep a couple times. Gloom actually did put in work this week. I brought him to all 3 games. Liepard I got rid of after week 4, and Heracross I've only brought a couple times. Magzone, and the rest of these guys have all been kicked, and then Dunsparce didn't actually get brought to any of the 3 games I played last week. So looking at our kills, obviously Cinderace is up first, and then Delmise kicked a lot of ass in Trick Room. Grimmsnarl, I'm surprised I have 8 kills on him. He just mainly does some cleanup hits while everybody else does the damage. That's kind of fluky. Magnezone with the 8 kills in 3 games. He actually got all 4 kills in game 3 last week, and then 3 kills in game 1 and just the 1 kill in game 2. Mr. Rime was picking up a bunch of kills early in the season, but then he tailed off. Porygon's in the same boat as Grimmsnarl, not really a main damage dealer. And then we got a 3-way tie, Quagsire, Mantine, Heracross. Vikavolt, I think he only actually played one of these games. I think he was in the back for another, but yeah, 3 kills, pretty good. And Mawile with the 1 game, 1 kill. And the rest of these was 0. Gloom was close. Gloom almost got a kill on an Inteleon last week, so that's good. Did like 85% to an Inteleon with Giga Drain. Death's probably going to fall in line with the games played, mostly. Cinderace was in the most games, he died the most times. Nobody even has an opportunity to get above this, because my next highest games played is Quagsire. And then we got Mr. Rime and Gloom, each dying 6 times. That's almost a 100% death rate for Gloom. I think the only game he didn't die was game 3 of last week's match. Quagsire's only got a 50% death rate, so that's pretty good. Delmise is killing it. Mantine below 50%. And yeah, then a bunch that I don't really bring that often. Heracross again was in the back, so one of these barely counts. And if we go to kills per game, Magnezone obviously in front because of what I talked about earlier. He absolutely slapped around that last series. Vikavolt, only 2 games, 3 kills. Delmise, decent. And yeah, I think that's what you'd expect kill-wise. Everything above 1 is basically who you'd expect to be above 1 on my team. Maybe Heracross also, but haven't brought him enough. And as I said, he did sit in the back for one of these, at least one of these games, maybe 2. So this 0.8 is more realistically a 1 or above. Deaths per game. I'll make sure my mic is on. It is. Urshifu brought him to 1 game and he died. Gloom, as we just talked about, only lived in that game 3. Mr. Rhyme, I'm surprised, has died so much. But he is fairly frail physically. Cinderace, that's just a virtue of him being in most of the games. Same with Grimmsnarl. What's our low one? Heracross, he's only died once. And Magnezone also only died once. And any zeros, just the Vikavolt. Play rate is basically the same. If I had actually done some math here, it's like put out of possible games, this would be different because Grimmsnarl was picked up, as I said, halfway through the season. So in terms of possible games, what was my total number of games? 22. So this would be 15 out of 22, which is correct, 68.18%. But if we look at Grimmsnarl, he played in 7, and I probably picked him up. I think that would have been against Phoenix. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 11. So 7 out of 11 that's what, 70%-ish, maybe 69%. So his usage rate might actually be higher than Cinderace. Let me just do that right now. 64%. So it's not higher than Cinderace, but it's still my second highest. Who else did I pick up? Mantine would have been in around 13 games, so that'd be about 50%, just above 50%. And the other 2 pickups were these guys who really didn't play that much, so those are still pretty accurate. And my KD ratio. Magnezone with the big 8. I don't know if anyone's going to catch that. That seems pretty high. I forget what the stats were that Poppin' Fresh posted earlier in the seasons, but 8's pretty good. Proud of my boy for that last series. I knew he was going to have to carry, and carry he did. Heracross's 4 is also pretty good. That's mainly because of just the 1 death. He doesn't have that many kills. And same with Vikavolt. Yeah, I just changed this to 3. Obviously, you can't divide by 0, but whatever. Delmise, a beast as always, 2.75. Grimmsnarl is, again, a surprising amount of kills with 8. And then Cinderace. So, there's a look at my kill and death stats. Magnezone's looking pretty good. And Cinderace carrying me through the season for most of the season, and Delmise at the tail end of the season was very instrumental in a lot of my wins. So there's the stats. Let me know what your guys' kills are, and hopefully Poppin' Fresh comes out with his version of these stats. I'm curious to see if Magnezone is the leader in KD ratio. Thanks for watching. Peace.